Hi, my name is Jenna and today I'm going to be telling you my top 12 favourite books of 2018. Obviously normally I would do this during Bookmas, but I did not do Bookmas last year, so instead you are getting an entire video dedicated to my 12 favourite reads of 2018. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 12 we have Zenith by Sasha Olsberg and Lindsay Cummings. This is a book that no one expects to be on a top 12 list, but I personally really did enjoy it. This is a science fiction novel that follows Androma and her cast of all-female badass pirates in space as they travel around the universe trying to stay one step ahead of people who would like to capture them because they do kind of some illegal stuff. So when a routine mission goes awry, the crew find themselves at the mercy of this bounty hunter who also happens to be a person from Andy's past, and they are then thrust into this unknown world where they have to try and navigate their way out while keeping themselves alive. And at the same time there is a looming threat that is kind of growing at the other side of the galaxy, which becomes more and more of an issue as the book goes on. This book had issues at the beginning and some of the writing was interesting and there were way too many point of view characters, but overall I really did enjoy this book. It was just like, it was something fun to read, and the characters themselves, some of them were really interesting, and the ending blew my mind, and that in itself was something that really shocked me. The ending really did blow my mind, and believe it or not, I am really looking forward to Nexus. Coming in at number 11 we have The Fandom by Anna Day, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. So The Fandom follows a girl named Violet who is attending a Comic-Con for her absolute favorite show, movie, book series ever called The Gallows Dance. While she's at Comic-Con, something happens and she and a few of her friends get thrust into the story that they know and love. In the first 5 minutes they manage to kill the main character, which Violet then needs to step into this main character's shoes in order to keep the plot moving forward so they can hopefully get home. So this book had incredible characters, especially the main character. She was brilliant, and it was also something that was really twisty, and I did not see the ending coming. I thought I had predicted the ending and then something happened and it just kind of blew up in my face. So it was definitely a book that kept me on the edge of my toes, and it was one that I really truly did enjoy reading. Coming in at number 10 we have The Perfectionist by Sarah Shepherd, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Perfectionist follows a group of 5 girls who are all perfect on the outside but are far from on the inside. One day they make this list of ways they would kill this guy at school who is a real douchebag, really. He's an awful guy, but of course they're never going to act on it. So when this guy shows up dead, the 5 girls are suddenly suspects in his murder, and it is up to them to figure out who actually did it while trying to maintain their perfect images. This was a really good book, and I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, but I really did enjoy it. I remember trying to figure out who the murderer was, and I can tell you right now, you find out in the sequel because it's only a duology. Didn't pick it. I did not pick who it was. It was someone completely out of the blue who I just was not expecting, but I really did love this novel and I loved the series itself, and I am so ridiculously excited to see the Pretty Little Liars Perfectionist spin-off show, even though I know that it's going to be very different to the books. Coming in at number 9 is my last 4-star read on this list, and that is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. This book follows a boy named Todd who lives in Prentice Town, which is populated entirely by men. In this town there is something going on which causes the boys and the men to be able to hear each other's thoughts, and these thoughts tumble all together becoming noise, and it's something really loud and annoying that you kind of want to get away from but you can't. So when Todd stumbles upon this silent patch, he discovers a girl there, something he's never seen before, and he and this girl kind of run away together, and they have to figure out why they can't hear her thoughts, why she can't hear his thoughts, and why the town is the way that it is. This book was really brilliantly done. I loved trying to figure out this mystery of who she was and who everyone was and why it was like the way that it was, and the ending really did blow my mind. I was like, what is happening? The only thing for me was I'd been told it was like a really emotional gut-punching book, and I definitely didn't see that, but overall it was a really interesting book with really interesting characters and a plot that I cannot wait to see where it goes in the next 2 books. So the rest of the books on this list are all my 5-star reads. So coming in at number 8 we have Neverland by Margot McGovern. This book follows a girl named Kit who, after an attempted suicide, goes back to an island where she was raised, where her uncle has set up a kind of institution for teenagers like Kit who are having a rough time of it. Kit normally would go back to this island just as a resident, but this time she is going back as a patient, and she needs to figure out what is real and what is not real as she tries to come to terms with trauma that has happened in her past. This is a really hard book to read. It's really personal and you really get inside Kit's mind, but she is kind of an unreliable narrator at times because you really don't know if what she's seeing is real or if what you're seeing is something manifested by her illness. And it is brilliantly done because this character is not just defined by her illness. She has her own personality. She has something more than that, but it's something that I really would recommend everyone read because, like I said, it's really emotional and personal, but it's done in such a way that it's really enjoyable to read. Coming in at number 7, we have The Invasion by Peter Aguilin. This is the sequel and finale to The Call, which came out 2 years ago now. It came out a while ago, and The Invasion follows the same characters as they come to terms with what happened at the end of the first book, and they also are still trying to fight these fairies. I did not see the ending. I literally did not see where the ending was going until I was like almost there, and I went, oh, they are not gonna go there, but they did, and I was really impressed with how it all wrapped up. I was really impressed at how gruesome and gross this book is. It was just like the first one in that it was uncomfortable to read, but it was really fun to read as well, even though it was so gross and gruesome. So definitely gets thumbs up in that department, but overall it was a great finale as well. Coming in at number 6, we have The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This book follows a girl named Star who, after witnessing the death of her childhood best friend at the hands of a white cop, becomes wrapped up in the Black Lives Matter movement after she is learning how to find her voice and learning that she needs to stand up for her friend and learning just how unjust and unfair society really is. It is an amazing book. It is really important one to read, which is funny for me to say considering I never really wanted to read it in the first place, but I am very glad that I did. It's a very emotional, very realistic portrayal of what is happening in the world now, or at least realistic as to my understanding of it, and I thought it was really brilliantly well done. Read it if you haven't, and definitely go see the movie. Coming in at number 5, we have If I Tell You by Alicia Tuckerman. This was Alicia's debut novel this year, and it follows a girl named Alex who lives in a very small town and has not told anyone that she is gay. So when a new girl, Phoenix, moves into town, Alex meets her and a romance kind of starts to blossom, but Alex is nervous to tell anyone because she is nervous as to how her family and friends will react being from such a small town. This book was beautifully written. It was such a personal story, definitely to Alicia. I got an advanced kind of copy of this and it came with a letter from her, and she said this was a very personal story for her. I loved Alex. I loved the characters. This book ruined me. Like, I was devastated because it kind of takes you in one direction and then does like a sharp U-turn and takes you in another, and it was not what I was expecting at all, but it was still beautifully done and I highly recommend it to everyone. Coming in at number 4, we have Whisper by Lynette Noni. This book follows Subject 684, who has not spoken in the past 2 years and has been held in this facility called Lengard. All of a sudden her routine is changed and she meets this lovely young man named Ward, and she now needs to discover why exactly she's been kept here, and we need to discover why she won't speak. This book is brilliant. It really is, but it has more twists and turns than a corn maze at Halloween. It is really confusing, but done in such a way that it doesn't feel confusing. The characters are fantastic. Considering 684 doesn't really speak, she has the loudest voice and is someone that like you really look up to because she's someone that you can follow and you can be like, yeah, that's right, that's who I want to be, and that is brilliantly done. Lynn has such a unique writing style and that is very conversational, so it's kind of a small book, but it's easy to just shoot through, and the cast of characters themselves are so much fun. I loved this book. I cannot wait for the sequel. And now we are down to my top 3. I wonder if any of you can guess what it will be. Let me know in the comment section below if you guess my top 3 correctly, because I can guarantee, unless you've been watching my vlogs, I don't think you're gonna guess it. Coming in at number 3, we have The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Arbitelli. This book follows a girl named Molly who believes she can never fall in love. She's not the typical YA protagonist. She is a little bit bigger than most, and she is someone that I really started to connect with on kind of a spiritual level in a way that I wasn't expecting to connect. So the book follows this girl named Molly who has a twin sister, and the two of them are very close, but something happens in this book that kind of starts to tear them apart. Cassie gets a new girlfriend who comes with a very sexy sidekick, and Molly kind of goes, kind of gets the candy eyes, but there is another boy that she works with who she also kind of gets the candy eyes for. So it's about Molly learning how to fall in love with not just these boys, but also with herself. I loved this book. Like I said, I had a very strong connection to Molly and a strong connection to the book itself, so I really loved it. I loved getting to read about her story, and I loved the representation that this book had. Like, Molly and Cassie have two mums who just can now get married, and so that is always happening in the back of the book, and I love how current that is. And just overall, this book had some really important messages and themes, which I think is really important for everyone to read. And now number 2. Coming in at number 2 is Grey Veil by Lynette Noni. I'm sure many of you thought this was going to be number 1, but it's number 2. I love Grey Veil very, very much. If you don't know, Grey Veil is the 4th book in the Medoran Chronicles series, which follows Alexandra Jennings when she walks through a doorway into the mystical world of Medora. So she's been here up until book 4 now, and this book steps it up a notch, okay? I mean, we have raised stakes, we have armies being formed, we have allies being found, we have Alex getting into trouble and getting out of it like she always does. This book ruined me. It is my favorite one in the series, and I absolutely loved it and would recommend this series until I die. And now we have made it to my number 1 read for 2018, and I'm not sure any of you are gonna guess it. It's The Evolution of Claire by Tess Sharp. This book is a prequel novel to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. If y'all know me at all, you'll know that I love Jurassic Park. Literally, I went on the Jurassic Park time 3 times when I was at Universal because I love it that much. This book follows Claire Dearing, who is the main character in Jurassic World, and it follows her right after her first year of college when she gets an internship to go and work on Isla Nublar with the Masrani Corporation, and it follows her on her summer of learning a little bit of the ropes, and we really get to see why Claire is the way she is when we meet her in Jurassic World, but we also get to see hints of Fallen Kingdom Claire in here as well, and I loved this book. I didn't know whether I was gonna really like it or not, but I loved it. It had fantastic characters, it had a great plot, it had an unexpected ending, and it really did tie everything up together so that I knew where we were going, I knew how we got to the films, and it was brilliant, and I loved it so much. And there you go, those are my top 12 reads for 2018. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below if you've read any of these books and what you thought, because I would absolutely love to know. If you like these videos, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.